Good afternoon. Welcome. At this time of year, we thought it would be a good idea to share some thoughts on a well-known Christmas carol. So this is the fourth talk in a series of 4 with that theme.
Hi, I'm Roger Wiles, and I'm going to briefly share about my favourite carol. But I want to read to you a really wonderful little bit of incredible history recorded for us at the beginning of Luke's Gospel. It's in Luke chapter 2, the first 5 verses. Let me read them. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. Now, this was the first census to take place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to his own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. Have you ever noticed that God inspired Micah, it's recorded in the Old Testament, to prophesy centuries beforehand that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem? You can read it in his book, chapter 5, verse 2. Yet when the time came, Mary, the Messiah's mother, and Joseph, his legal father, well, they have their home in Nazareth. It's over 90 miles away from Bethlehem, which is where Luke's little bit of history is so stunning. On that first Christmas, to fulfill his word through Micah, so as to bring 2 unheard of, insignificant little people to Bethlehem, itself an insignificant little backwater town, God lays it on the heart of Caesar Augustus that the whole Roman world should be registered, each in his own original town. It was a decree for the entire known world to move 2 little people 90 miles. Now, when you think of the world's population today, which is fast approaching 8 billion people, have you ever felt like me? Completely insignificant, just tiny. You know, where all the news is dominated by coronavirus and Brexit and the American presidency and people with global significance and power and prestige. They're the ones who get into the news. Does it make you feel small, unimportant, verging on the point of being of no consequence whatsoever? If it does, don't be discouraged, don't be disheartened. For what we see in Luke's little bit of history is a truth that runs through the whole of the scriptures. All the powerful political forces, the governments and individuals, all the giant mega companies that dominate the technological world, like Facebook and Amazon and Twitter and so on, all the movers and shakers of society, wherever they are, whoever they are, whatever their influences, without their even knowing it, are being guided by God, not for their own sake, but for the sake of God's little people, the little Mary and the little Joseph, who need to get from Nazareth to Bethlehem for reasons beyond their own understanding. God wields the greatest empire in the whole world to fulfill his word and bless his children. Do not think, because you experience trials and suffering in your little world experience, that God has no interest in you. Don't think that. But do remember, it's not our prosperity or our fame, but our holiness that he desires for us with all of his heart. He's a big God, a huge God for little people. And we have great cause to rejoice that, unbeknownst to them, all the kings and queens and presidents and prime ministers and chancellors and chiefs of the world, whether they know it or not, follow the sovereign decrees of our Father in heaven, so that we, his little children, might be conformed to the image of his Son, Jesus Christ, and then one day enter into his eternal glory. For these reasons, I love the carol, O Little Town of Bethlehem. It reminds me of God's sovereign power, working his purposes so powerfully through the most insignificant of things. O little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark streets shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. Well, God bless you all, and may you each one have a truly blessed and wonderful Christmas. Bye.